working on the side can be one of the most comfortable positions for a patient. So I tend to grip somebody's forearm into my waist, and I've got my other hand just supporting the elbow so I can guide that where I need to go. So if we go through the ranges of movement again, because we're trying to improve range of movement, right? So we can take the arm and the shoulder into flexion, see how far it goes. I can pass a bent arm and then swap and then take it into extension and feel what's happening. Then we can take the shoulder into abduction. We can do abduction and circumduction, which is quite soothing. And then we can even assess internal and external rotation. I tend to use side lying more for when I'm trying to improve that scapulohumeral rhythm, and I'm also trying to reseat this glenoid within the reseat the head of the humerus in the glenoid, and I anchor the shoulder blade down. So I'm holding the shoulder blade down whilst going into flexion, and I'm just transferring my weight. So I'm not lifting, I'm not pulling, I'm just transferring weight from side to side. And I'm anchoring either the shoulder blade onto his thorax, or maybe I'm looking for a little bit of downward or upward rotation from the shoulder blade. So you can reposition your hand for whatever movement you're trying to encourage. So you can anchor, you can get into the serratus a little bit, or the lats, knowing their role that they play. Go back to your working material and decide which muscle groups are you wanting to work on to lengthen in order to improve that range of movement. So we've got extension. You might think he needs more from his triceps and less on his biceps. So you might want to do a muscle energy technique. Danny, if you resist the pressure, push behind. That's it. Apply pressure to the elbow and relax. Take it further. Push behind you. And take it further. You might want to do the same going forwards. You might want to take the arm up, push down for me, Danny, and relax. And then push down for me, Danny, and relax, taking it further into flexion. You might want to take the arm out into abduction. This is a great one. You can support the arm. I prefer to do this actually from the back, but you can support the shoulder blade and the arm. We'll come back to that one later, actually. But also from here, you can do some mobilisations. You can control the shoulder from the elbow, anchoring the shoulder down, bit of circumduction. Going the other way. And I think we'll do some other techniques from the other side. And if we remember, one of the things that we're trying to improve is that scapulothoracic movement, along with the other thing, which is to keep the head of the humerus centralized within the glenoid. These techniques might help you. So I'm going to take Danny's arm and I'm going to abduct to, usually with an impingement problem or a shoulder problem, you're going to get pain between sort of 60 and 80 degrees. So I'm going to ask him to take his arm up to 60 or 80. I'm going to go round the top of the shoulder and I'm going to encourage flexion where he may be limited, abduction or flexion, but at the same time I'm going to depress the head of the humerus. So we're going to encourage flexion if you relax. So let me do it. So as he flexes, I'm just applying pressure, downward pressure this way. A little bit of traction from the wrist. to encourage flexion. And then the same thing for abduction. We're going to, if I do it and Danny's arm is floppy, we're going to stabilise and hold the head of the humerus down gently and then take the arm up. So you can see that we're trying to get that head of the humerus to stay down during flexion or abduction. Wherever there's pain, you don't take it beyond pain. So we'll do that one again. A little bit of traction, a little bit of holding the head of the humerus, take it into flexion, and repeat. Traction, hold it down, take it, encourage it into flexion. Same thing in abduction. Hold it down. Bit of traction from the wrist and encourage further abduction. Is that okay, Danny? Yeah. You can also introduce a bit of reciprocal inhibition or muscle energy technique here if you like. So you may get to here and think there's a little bit of a barrier. And then you can ask Danny, can you actually push back this way ever so slightly? And hold it and let go. And then I'm going to re-engage that barrier. If you let everything go, and I'm going to take it up to flexion again, try and take it a bit further and re-engage that barrier and push back. I won't charge you for the one on the wrist. And then back. And then we can do the same in abduction. So we take it into that scapular plane around 60 to 80, anchor the head of the humerus down. And then, Danny, can you take your arm down for me? That's it. Hold it a few seconds and let go. And then you're going to re-engage that barrier and hopefully get a little bit more abduction there. Another technique that I find really useful for that scapular movement, if you get the patient to take the arm out to about 45 degrees, you're going to cup the head of the humerus and then you're going to go onto the shoulder blade, literally anchor it down and then encourage further abduction. Okay, Dan, if you want to go up, in, out to the side of the arm and up towards your head, that's it, and then down again, and all that while I'm applying pressure onto the scapula, encouraging that upward rotation. And again, anchor it down. And you could also introduce a reciprocal inhibition and you could actually prevent that movement from happening. So if you take the arm down this way, that's it, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Or depending on which way that shoulder blade isn't working well, you could go the other way. Anchor the shoulder blade down, ask him to abduct, use that reciprocal inhibition and let go and encourage the movement a little bit further. So refer back to your course material. There's loads of muscle energy techniques, reciprocal inhibition techniques, but that's one of my favourites, side lying. And then, Danny, if you could just go onto your back again for me. People with frozen shoulder, they respond really, really well to basically the joint being moved. That adhesive capsulitis is making the joint sticky. So any range of movement, regular and rhythmical, is going to help a frozen shoulder. So they might not be able to get past here. So what you might want to do is just flex and extend and flex and extend. They might not be able to get past here. So you might just want to take it out to the side as far as they can go. But regularly and rhythmically, you might want to grab that head of the humerus and roll it and circumduct it. You might want to put your hand into the armpit and give it a little bit of traction and capsule at the joint. One of the techniques I learned many years ago was from A.L. Lederman, and that was an oscillatory technique, and it works brilliantly for people with frozen shoulders. And basically, it's a relaxed movement. You're taking the person who has the problem with the wrist, and you're just encouraging a little bit of movement. You let that shoulder go, Danny, out into abduction, and letting that oscillation occur, hopefully improving the synovial fluid within the joint. You can then Go to another barrier. Where's it sticky? Where's it getting a bit stuck? Try that movement there. So it's a little oscillation. And if you hold the wrist, you can do it the other way. So you might find that it's okay to here. So go to here and then try a little bit more movement there and there. You might want to incorporate a bit of flexion with it because that's where they get stuck. And then you might want to just oscillate there and there. You could take the wrist with both hands. You can shake. Find that restriction. So it's easy here, but somebody may be stuck around there. Stay there and oscillate. It is wiggling it around a bit. And you can use just your fingers to get some motion. Find the barrier. Maybe it's here. Try there. You could oscillate there. All the time you're just trying to improve that range of motion.